What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a very exciting Liverpool transfer news video, because David Ornstein came out with an article saying that Jadon Sancho wants to move from Borussia Dortmund because he felt humiliated, scapegoated and unprotected by Borussia Dortmund and the Dortmund hierarchy. And in this video I will tell you guys an injury update on Mo Salah and whether he will be back for Napoli, and also we have a transfer update on Ryan Brewster because clubs are interested in loaning him in the January transfer window. So in this video later I will tell you which clubs they are interested in Ryan Brewster, so stay tuned and enjoy the video. After Dortmund lost to Bayern Munich, public comments criticizing Jadon Sancho. He doesn't really feel at home at Dortmund anymore, and his current summer options, according to the journalist, are Liverpool, Barcelona, Manchester United and Real Madrid. He has no preference yet, and also Manchester City, apparently they want to be kept informed by Jadon Sancho about the Jadon Sancho's situation by Dortmund, but I don't think Man City would spend 100 million on Jadon Sancho because they already have Mahrez, Sterling, Leroy Sané who will come back from injury. Chelsea made no contact, they aren't interested in Jadon Sancho. So let me know guys, what chance, how big a chance do Liverpool have to sign him? Because I think actually out of those four clubs, Liverpool are the most exciting and the most desirable option. And I'm of course a Liverpool fan, but if you are a neutral in this, if you are not a Liverpool fan, let me know. If you were a footballer right now playing for Dortmund and Barcelona, Liverpool, Real Madrid and Manchester United came in for you, which club would you go to? Of course Barcelona and Real Madrid are really like big names, big clubs in the football world, but right now, is their team as good as Liverpool? I think only Barcelona out of those three other clubs are on paper as good as Liverpool, but they are not really playing well in La Liga. They only have 10 points from 7 away games in La Liga, and they are only top because the other big teams, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, are also not firing on all cylinders. I think actually that Jadon Sancho has a very big decision to make, and I think Liverpool are the most attractive option out of those clubs. And Liverpool will spend big, according to David Ornstein. We have been saving money by not spending on a major transfer in the last summer transfer window. So next summer we will go big. And according to this story by David Ornstein, Jadon Sancho was actually mortified by his treatment during the 4-0 defeat to Bayern Munich, because Sancho was substituted with only half an hour gone at the Allianz Arena, with the coach Lucien Favre admitting afterwards that the decision to remove the winger was purely because he was not good enough. When your own manager is saying that you are not good enough and you are scapegoating, he scapegoats you because of the defeat, that must really hurt. And I think there is a personal relationship issue between the manager and Jadon Sancho. And I think that defeat wasn't down to Jadon Sancho. The fact that Dortmund were 1-0 down, the whole team of Dortmund didn't play well. And by the way, I watched their game against Paderborn, and in the first half Dortmund played like they wanted their own manager getting sacked. They lacked absolutely any motivation, urgency. They didn't even run with some Paderborn attackers. Paderborn, who are a newly promoted side, they are bottom of the league in the Bundesliga. They were 3-0 up at halftime, and probably Dortmund players thought this is pretty disgraceful, let's turn up for the second half, and they actually equalized. Jadon Sancho got a goal and he assisted Marco Reus, who scored in the 92nd minute. It was a cracking game, a brilliant game to watch. But Dortmund, there are big issues there, and I think they wanted the manager to get sacked. And of course these comments came a week after Jadon Sancho was fined and dropped from the matchday squad after returning late from the previous international break. And the newspaper that David Ornstein is writing for is reporting that Dortmund winger Jadon Sancho is looking to leave Dortmund at the end of the season, and now he feels unfairly treated by the Dortmund powers that be. As things stand, 4 clubs are interested, as I already said, and Manchester City also was asked to be kept informed about any potential situation. And this season, Jadon Sancho has been on fire, so I don't understand this unwanted, unneeded criticism, unnecessary criticism by the Dortmund manager and the Dortmund CEO as well, because he actually scored 5 goals and assisted a further 9 in 17 appearances. So that's like 16 goal contributions in 17 games. Basically, Jadon Sancho is either scoring a goal or getting an assist in every single game. And remember that he's still a very, very young player. So Dortmund, I think, are making a huge mistake. Or maybe they think Jadon Sancho will move anyway, and let's bring the hype up on him, and let's show the world that Jadon Sancho is available and free to go anywhere if the right club pays the right amount of money. They probably want a bidding war between the biggest clubs in the world, and I think they will get it, and Liverpool will be, of course, in the front row. The good news is Jurgen Klopp has personal relationships with Dortmund. He is good friends with the Dortmund director, and I think it will be very easy for Jurgen Klopp to conclude the negotiations, and also he will probably hear exactly what Jadon Sancho is like in training, in his personal life, so he can really gauge whether Jadon Sancho is the right fit into this Liverpool team, because we are only signing players who are not just good enough in terms of on the pitch, but also off the pitch. They have to act in the right manner. David Ornstein also wrote, as I have more conversations on this matter ahead of the summer, it should become clear, but it's just a personal guess at the moment, that both Liverpool and Manchester City can and will spend big, but don't have such a pressing need or the same level of resources on the other teams towards the top of the Premier League table. Ornstein said Chelsea and Man United can and will spend, but they are clearly trying to form a homegrown core of players to be supplemented by signings. The difference, I guess, is that you can see Manchester United going huge on somebody like Sancho or Koulibaly. Man City doesn't tend to spend such great sums on one player, but I think that will change, because if Man City want to catch Liverpool in the title race, they probably need to spend big on a centre-back like Koulibaly. But it's going to be very interesting what happens next, and I will keep you guys updated, keep you guys posted on the latest. I think this article by David Ornstein is very, very interesting, and if you have a subscription to The Athletic, you can read it yourself as well. And Manchester United legend Roy Keane actually said that Liverpool are showing the sign of champions by winning against Crystal Palace 2-1 and grinding out a result once again. And this is what Roy Keane said about the game. It was a tricky game for Liverpool, going down to Crystal Palace after the international break, and they will be looking at the game where a few decisions went their way. I will go back to what I said. It was a great win for Liverpool. It's the sign of champions, winning ugly, and that's a great sign. It would keep going about Manchester United when they were chasing down Newcastle in the late 90s in the title race. People think there are big speeches every week and words of wisdom from everyone at the training ground. It's not. It's keeping your head down and try to keep winning football matches and what you are in control of. Of course, Man City would have been upset with Liverpool winning late on. And I think Man City were very close to losing points against Chelsea. Chelsea actually played much better in the first 30 minutes. I watched the extended highlights of the game, and Chelsea passed the ball really well. They could have scored a couple of goals. They scored one with N'Golo Kante. Then City hit back with a very lucky deflected De Bruyne goal. The Mahrez goal was class, so that was probably a very big turning point in the game. But in the second half, Chelsea had some very good chances to equalize. And I think on the balance of play, a draw would have been the fair result. So Man City easily could have dropped points. They played pretty slow, not to their usual high-octane football. So I think this Man City team is not as good as last year's Man City team or last season's Man City team. But if we are brutally honest, and we are on this channel, I think the Liverpool team are not as good as last season either. Not in terms of points-wise, because points-wise, of course, we are better than last season. We started off with just 1 draw and 12 wins from 13 games. That's insane. That's the best start Liverpool have ever had in a league season. But last season we played better, and I think we put more consistent performances in. But then we had a wobbling like January, February period, I think, where we drew too many games, and that ultimately lost us the title. I really hope that Liverpool can avoid similar fate this season, and I think that Liverpool are on a very, very good way. We have some winnable games coming up. In the Premier League, Liverpool play Brighton, Everton, Bournemouth and Watford in the next few weeks, and I think those are winnable games. And after Watford we play Aston Villa as well, and then we play Leicester and Wolves and Sheffield United. So Leicester are the only like top 7 team that we play in that period, and on the other hand Manchester City have much tougher fixtures. I mean, they play Newcastle, Burnley both away from home, then they play Manchester United, they play Arsenal, they play Leicester as well, and after that they go to Wolves. So Man City have probably in the next period until like January, they have a worse run than Liverpool in terms of how strong teams are they coming up against. So I think that Liverpool can even extend their lead if they perform to their maximum potential. And Mohamed Salah will be fit for the Napoli game, so he will be hopefully fit for the Brighton game as well. I think it was good that Salah was rested for the Crystal Palace game, because we won anyway, and that's the most important thing. And Jurgen Klopp also commented on Mauricio Pochettino and him getting sacked. Pochettino did a brilliant job at Tottenham, Jurgen Klopp said. Outstanding coach, great guy, I enjoyed the games against him. We have a history together. When I first heard it, I couldn't believe it in that moment. I really hope he can enjoy a few days, weeks or months off. Jose is motivated highly, so it will be interesting. My first Premier League game was against Pochettino, so we have a history. Any job that is available, he will be in contention for it. Everything will be fine for him. It was a big one. When I first heard, I couldn't believe it. I hope Mauricio can enjoy a few weeks off. He deserves it probably. So this is what Jurgen Klopp said on Mo Salah's injury. Salah is all good. He couldn't train for 9 days. He was with Egypt, went home, trained 60-70% the day before yesterday, and was first time 100% yesterday. We had to make the decision whether to start him or not. We didn't start him. We were about to bring him on when we scored the winner with 5 minutes remaining, so we could rest him today. That's really good. Wednesday he will be back. So yeah, when Liverpool were looking for the winner, probably in the last like 7-8 minutes with stoppage time, we could have brought Salah on, but when we scored the winner, we brought Joe Gomez on to seal the game, and that's exactly what happened. Premier League club Crystal Palace are interested in getting Ryan Brewster in on a loan, but they need to fend off some interest from other clubs. Jurgen Klopp previously in the beginning of the season said that Ryan Brewster is in his plans and he will get some minutes, but so far, with Liverpool being so close to their first Premier League title, I think maybe Jurgen Klopp was a little bit wary of playing Ryan Brewster in the Premier League. He played in the League Cup recently, and he will probably continue to play in that competition. But in the Premier League, apparently he's not ready yet. So Jurgen Klopp changed his mind, and now he will be able to go out on loan in the January transfer window. But other clubs are also interested in him. Aston Villa, Leeds United and Swansea City. And I want Ryan Brewster to go to a club where he can play regularly. And I think Swansea City need the striker the most at the moment. They are not really in great form, not scoring a lot of goals in the Championship, even though they are in the playoff places. I think he would play regularly at Swansea, and they are playing decent football. Not as good football as when they were in the Premier League, but still decent football. Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Leeds United. Would Ryan Brewster get regular playing time there? I'm not sure. I'm not sure he's ready to be a number 9 for Crystal Palace or a number 9 for Aston Villa or even for Leeds United, who have Patrick Bamford. So I would only want Ryan Brewster to go to a club where he will play like regularly. What's the point of him going to Crystal Palace and sitting on the bench? There is no point. He's better off training with the Liverpool first team players, and he's better off training with the likes of Salah, Mane and Firmino, where he could see how they train and learn stuff from them. And many Liverpool fans have noticed that Fabinho picked up a 5th yellow card in the Crystal Palace game, and he actually misses the Brighton game at home. Which I think, if you have to choose a game which Fabinho can miss, and that's Brighton or somebody lower down the table at home, where Liverpool are probably not really reliant on Fabinho defending the backline, and I think that Henderson and Wijnaldum and Oxlade-Chamberlain can play in midfield with maybe Salah, Mane and Firmino up front. That could be a decent lineup. Or I would of course love to see Naby Keita in the lineup, but he still probably needs a little bit more training to get as sharp as he can. But I think Fabinho missing Brighton is probably the perfect game that he can miss, and I think we can win without him actually. And even though some people are saying that Pep Guardiola could leave Manchester City next summer, actually he still wants to stay, and probably he wants to fight for more Premier League titles. This is what Guardiola said. Why should people think I'm not happy here? Because we lost at Anfield, or that I've lost 3 games this season? That's an odd reason to say I'm not happy or satisfied to be here. The real situation is that we had 198 points in 2 seasons, and that's exceptional. The moment I leave is when I feel my team don't follow me to play at Anfield in the way we played. The players may say completely the opposite, but I don't have that feeling. And I think Guardiola knows that if he leaves Manchester City, then Liverpool will probably just win multiple league titles, because no other manager, I think, can get Manchester City to get like 98 or 100 points again. I think it's only Pep Guardiola, and yeah, Jurgen Klopp, but Jurgen Klopp would never go to Man City in the next few years. So I think Guardiola wants to fight it out. He wants to actually beat this great Liverpool side season after season to the title, and that's his big motivation. At the moment, Liverpool have the upper hand, but the title race is far from over. The season is very long. As you could see, Liverpool had problems against Crystal Palace. We could have many more games like that where we maybe don't win or even we lose some games. So I think Guardiola is here to stay, and we just need to embrace it, that this is probably the greatest battle between 2 of the greatest teams that English football has ever seen. Not just in the Premier League, but historically. If you look at how many games, how many percentage of the games these 2 guys win, I mean, Liverpool, if you count the last 38 games of the Premier League, they have 101 points, which is absolutely incredible, and Man City have like 91 or 93 or something like that, crazy like that. So these are 2 historically great teams. And I think that Guardiola will probably stay for the next 3 years, even though I would love him to leave Man City and then Liverpool could easier win the title. But football is not played on paper, and football is not like that. It's never that straightforward. It's never that easy. There are always unpredictable things happening: injuries, suspensions, tiredness, players having issues, personal issues, managers losing their way. Anything can happen. I mean, who would have thought that Pochettino would get sacked by Tottenham just a few months after reaching the Champions League final, Tottenham's greatest achievement in Europe? So football is unpredictable, so just enjoy the ride, and I'm just loving it at the moment. This is, I think, my favorite season ever so far. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. See you later. Good night.